And if I told you that what you are about to find out should never have reached the public, what for centuries a small group of people hold such powerful knowledge that it could completely change the way you see reality. Freemasonry has always been wrapped in mystery, from its closed rituals to its influence on politics, economics, and culture. This secret society has been the target of theories and speculation. But now, something has happened. In recent months, highly restricted documents have begun to leak. Clandestine Masonic ritual videos emerged on social networks and became viral, attracting millions of views. People around the world are finally seeing what happens inside the stores. Enigmatic symbols, coded gestures, obscure ceremonies. Everything was there all the time, but no one could see what it really meant. And then a strange event caught even more attention. One of the most influential leaders of Freemasonry, Reverend Dr. Joseph Marrow, has suddenly resigned without explanation. He simply disappeared from the public. Why? What would have been revealed that even the highest degree members began to leave? The answer seems to be in a single document, written by a 33rd degree Freemason, the highest level of Freemasonry, accessible only to a select group. This document should not be available to the public. Your name, Moral and Dogma by Albert Pike. And it is in this book that we find a disturbing revelation. The ordinary Masons, those who believe they are ascending within fraternity, are kept in the dark all the time. They think they know the secrets of the organization, but they are actually just pieces in a much larger game. The question is, what exactly the 33rd degree Masons know we don't know? What is so powerful in this knowledge that needs to be hidden from humanity? Get ready, because after this video, you will never see the world the same way. In the next topic, let's understand how the structure of Freemasonry works and what is hiding behind its secret degrees. Most people believe that Freemasonry is just an exclusive fraternity, where influential men come together to discuss philosophy, business, and social events. But this is just the surface. The structure of Freemasonry is designed to keep the initiates uninformed. The system works through Masonic degrees, which represent different levels of knowledge within the organization. The first degree is the apprentice, where the initiates receive basic teachings about fraternity. The second degree is that of companion, where the person begins to deepen his knowledge. The third degree is that of Master Freemason, which for many seems to be the apex of the journey. But here is the big secret. These first 3 degrees are just a test, a kind of facade for something much bigger. Albert Pike's Moral and Dogma book reveals something that completely changes the perception of Freemasonry. According to Pike, the lower degrees serve only to prepare members and keep them busy. The symbols and rituals taught in these degrees do not have their true meaning revealed to the initiates. And then the question arises, if not even the Masons have access to the secrets of the order, who has? The answer is within a parallel structure of Freemasonry, the Scottish Rite, which leads the initiates beyond the 3rd degree to 32 additional degrees until reaching the 33rd degree, the highest of the Masonic hierarchy. But unlike the first degrees, the 33rd degree cannot be reached only by study or dedication. It is granted only to those who are chosen by an inner elite. This raises an even more disturbing question. If the first 32 degrees only serve to condition members to believe that they are part of something grand, what is being taught in the 33rd degree that needs to be so restricted? According to Albert Pike, the lower degrees are just a facade. Your teachings are false, but necessary to keep those who are not busy worthy. That is, the truth is reserved only for a select group that really commands the organization. But what is this power so powerful that it needs to be kept at all costs? In the next topic, Let's dive into the forbidden book of Freemasonry and find out what Albert Pike revealed about true Masonic knowledge. Among all the Masonic documents already written, one in particular stands out for containing revelations that should not be accessible to the public. The Moral and Dogma book, written by Albert Pike, is considered one of the most important texts within the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. But what does he really say? Unlike the basic teachings transmitted in the first degrees, this book suggests that true Freemasonry is not accessible to everyone, just for a select elite. Pike describes the first 32 degrees as an illusion, a system created to keep members in a state of obedience and blindness. He states that only in 33rd degree the true knowledge is revealed. And this knowledge involves something much deeper than politics. Economy or religion. According to Pike, the true power of Freemasonry lies in control of the perception of reality. He suggests that the symbols, rituals, and archetypes used within the fraternity are not only metaphors, but tools of mental and social manipulation. This means that high members of Freemasonry not only study these symbols, they use them to influence the world. And here is something even more disturbing. Many of these symbols are hidden in the sight of everyone, in places we see. And daily, for example, have you noticed in the eye that all sees in a dollar note? This symbol goes back to ancient Egypt and, in the Masonic context, represents the supreme knowledge that only the chosen ones have. Another classic symbol of Freemasonry is the compass and square, which represents the balance between the material and spiritual world. But for high-degree Masons, this symbol also contains a secret code, accessible only to those who know how to interpret it. And the big question is, if these symbols are everywhere, even in cash and in large corporations, does Freemasonry exert much greater control over society than we imagine? In the next topic, we will unravel how symbols, archetypes, and rituals are used to manipulate collective perception and influence global events without people noticing. If there is anything that the 33rd degree Masons dominate like no one else, it is the power of symbols and archetypes. What many people don't realize is that symbols are not just drawings. They carry a deep psychological impact and can influence the way we perceive the world. Throughout history, symbols have been used as tools for communicating hidden ideas, programming minds, and directing behaviors without even realizing people. And the scariest? This is happening to this day. The Masonic symbols you see every day, the eye that sees everything, the most iconic symbol of Freemasonry, present in the note of $1. It represents surveillance, supreme knowledge, and the idea that an elite is in control. The compass and the square, central symbol of Freemasonry, representing the union between the material and the spiritual, but also seen as a hidden code for those who know how to interpret it. The incomplete pyramid, another symbol found in the US dollar, suggesting that there is a project in progress that will only be completed by those who control the power structures. But the symbols are only the tip of the iceberg. What high-grade Masons actually dominate is the engineering of collective perception, a method that allows you to shape the way people interpret reality, influencing their thoughts and behaviors without their realization. How does Freemasonry use perception control? Great historical events, economic crises, wars, cultural changes, many of these events follow a ritualistic pattern that goes back to ancient occult doctrines. There is a principle within Freemasonry called Ordo ab Chao, which means order from chaos. This idea suggests that to establish a new order, one must first create a great crisis. This makes people disoriented and, in despair, accept any solution imposed, even if this solution benefits only the elite at the top. This concept can be observed at various times in history. financial crises that lead to new regulations that increase control over the population, global conflicts that justify greater vigilance and restriction of freedoms, social events that, even looking spontaneous, always end up favoring the same groups at the end. And the most impressive, this is before us all the time, in the media, pop culture, political discourses, and even entertainment. But if high-degree Freemasonry really dominates this technique, who are the people who are part of this select group? In the next topic, let's reveal who the true masters of the game are and how they influence every aspect of modern society. Now that we understand how high-grade Freemasonry uses symbols, rituals, and social engineering to shape collective perception, the inevitable question arises: who really holds this knowledge? If we look at the story, we will see a surprising pattern. Presidents, military leaders, industry mognates, media figures, and even influential artists. Many of them reach the 33rd degree of Freemasonry, but is this just coincidence? Historical figures linked to Freemasonry: Franklin D. Roosevelt, 33rd degree. It was the president who reshaped the modern financial system of the US. Under his government, Masonic symbols were inserted in the dollar note, such as the eye that all sees and the incomplete pyramid. Winston Churchill, 33rd degree. The British Prime Minister who led the United Kingdom in World War II, famous for his hypnotic speeches and advanced mass manipulation techniques. J. Edgar Hoover, 33rd degree, FBI's first director, collecting secret dossiers about politicians, entrepreneurs, and celebrities, creating an invisible control network. Lyndon B. Johnson, 33rd degree, assumed the US presidency shortly after the murder of John F. Kennedy. During his government, he implemented structural reforms that increased state power and benefited the financial elite. Walt Disney, 33rd degree, creator of an entertainment empire that shaped popular culture for generations. Their productions are full of esoteric references and hidden symbologies. Coincidence or social engineering? If these figures really reach the highest level within Freemasonry, an even more disturbing question arises: is the 33rd degree only honorary recognition or advanced training for those who govern the world behind the scenes? If we analyze the structure of modern society, we will realize that the same Masonic principles are present in politics, economics, and the media. They create the narrative, they establish the problems, and they offer the solutions. All of this within a carefully designed system to maintain concentrated power in the hands of the few. And if you still have questions about it, just look at how big events in history follow a predictable standard. A problem is created. It can be an economic crisis, an international conflict, or a global pandemic. The reaction of the public is predictable. Fear, chaos, despair. People call for solutions. The solution is imposed, always involving more control, more vigilance, and less freedom. This cycle repeats itself continuously and always benefits the same groups at the top of the pyramid. But this leads us to the most important question of all. If everything around us is being manipulated, is there any way to escape this control matrix? In the next and last topic, we will reveal how to protect your conscience and recover power over your own reality. Now that we unravel how the 33rd degree of Freemasonry uses symbols, rituals, and social engineering to shape collective reality, the most important question arises: how to escape this system and recover its true power? If there is something this elite doesn't want you to know, you can also use this knowledge to rewrite your own existence. What differentiates members of the 33rd degree from the rest of humanity is not only access to hidden secrets, but the way they see and manipulate their own identity and the perception of reality. They understand something that most never realize. Reality responds to what you believe is true. From birth, we are programmed to accept a fixed identity. We have learned to obey rules, accept limitations, and follow standards that we do not consciously choose. But the secret guarded by this elite is that human identity is moldable. This means that you can reprogram your mind to escape this illusion. Step 1. Awakening of the state of hypnosis. The first step towards leaving this system is to recognize the programming in which we were inserted. The media, advertising, and institutions reinforce beliefs limiting all the time. They want you to believe that success is rare, that wealth is difficult to achieve, that certain opportunities are not for you. But ask yourself, who benefits if I believe it? The more you accept the limitations imposed, the more predictable and controllable you become. The elite uses symbols and archetypes to shape your beliefs without you realizing it. Now that you know this, start questioning everything that comes to you. Step 2. Control your identity before someone controls you. If 33rd degree members have a definitive secret, this is this: identity controls reality. This means that the way you see yourself determines how the world responds to you. If you believe you are a failed, your actions will reflect this belief. But if you believe success is natural to you, your behavior changes instantly. This explains why great athletes, entrepreneurs, and artists create alter egos to achieve extraordinary performances. They know that it is not enough to act differently. You need to become someone different. Now ask yourself, who do you want to be? And most importantly, what would happen if, from now on, you started acting as the most successful version of yourself? If your decisions were made from this new identity, how would your reality begin to change? The elite knows that the transformation of reality begins in the mind. If you reprogram your identity, the world around you inevitably will adjust. Step 3. Create your own symbols and rituals. Symbols are used to program the collective mind, but they can also be used to reprogram their own consciousness. Here are some ways to do this. Create a personal symbol, something that represents your transformation. It can be an object, an image, or even a sentence you repeat daily. Use rituals to strengthen your mind. Every day, reinforce your identity with gestures, postures, and statements that consolidate your transformation. Filter the information that comes to you. If media and entertainment program the collective mind, you can do the opposite. Consciously choose what goes into your mind. What 33rd degree members do is just that. They shape the world from their own rules. Now you can do the same. The last secret: the world responds to those who command their own reality. The elite understands a simple truth. Reality is not fixed. She adapts to those who know how to manipulate her. The great mistake of most people is to believe that the world is unchanging, that the rules were written in stone, and that nothing can be done to change them. But if you observe the great figures of history, you will realize that those who really shaped the world were not the ones who followed the rules, those who wrote them. And now, you have two options. Continue living within the reality programmed for you, or take command of your own existence. This decision begins now. What do you choose? If this video made you see something new, leave the like and subscribe to the channel. Let's keep exploring the truths that don't want you to know. And remember, the true masters of reality are not those who follow the rules. They are those who create them.